What's going on? This your boy Lito Takeover. I got my partner over here, Tiffani D. This is the Takeover Files of Press Pause Production. In this episode right here, we have one of the most iconic men in entertainment, media, radio. You've seen him on Uncommon Sense. You've seen him 1/3 of The Breakfast Club. We just saw him in Bodied the other day at the premiere. The one and only Mr. Charlamagne Tha God. How you doing?
What's happening, my brother? That's a hell of an intro.
Right.
But thank you. I appreciate it. You know, if you say I'm iconic, I believe you.
Hey man, well, me personally, I feel like that because we all feel like that because, you know, just the way you've held down the media while staying yourself. And now you're dropping books, man. So tell us a little bit about Shook One.
Yeah, this is my second book, Shook One, Anxiety Playing Tricks on Me. I wouldn't even call it a follow-up to Black Privilege, you know what I'm saying? It's just a whole nother experience, you know. I've been dealing with anxiety my whole life, got clinically diagnosed with it like 9 years ago. Never really tried to get a handle on it until the past year. And so it's just literally me journaling I was keeping a journal of all my experiences with anxiety because I was flirting with the idea of therapy. And then when I started to go to therapy, I was still keeping, you know, this journal of, you know, everything I was going through, anxiety. And then my therapist started talking to me about PTSD and the source of that and trauma from things that happened when I was young. And it just turned into this book about mental health, which I didn't even intend for it to be. I just was, you know, talking about my experiences. So when I saw that it turned into this book about mental health, I went and got my man, Dr. Ish Major, who's an actual therapist. So every experience I'm talking about, he gives a clinical correlation to that experience. Because I'm not an expert at nothing. I just got some, you know, experiences and I like to share them.
Right. So speaking of sharing, tonight you had a phenomenal talk with
you.
the host of tonight. Very eye-opening things you were talking about. And one of the things you were talking about was the stigma of Black men in general, but Black men especially, in speaking about mental health and anxiety and all of those things. How important is it to you now, especially having your platform, for people to be aware of this and to be more accepting?
That's a great question because, you know, like I said, I didn't set out to write a book about mental health. I was just talking about my experiences, but now that I see the need for it in our community and I see that it's like a hunger for it and a thirst for it and people are dealing with these issues and they want somebody to talk to about them and, you know, they have a stigma, it's like, all right, cool. If that's what God has me meant to do right now, then I'm going to do it. Like, I think some things are just bigger than you sometimes. And I think this is just one of those situations where it's bigger than me. So if all I got to do is go out here and talk about my experiences and what I'm going through and how I'm dealing with it and it'll help somebody else, cool.
And I'm sorry, Lito. I know that you're really famously known for being like very outspoken, very blunt, very yourself. Do you think that sometimes that detracts or maybe may detract from the message that you're trying to send?
Of course, absolutely. But, you know, I can only be me at the end of the day. I always say I'm the perfect balance of ratchetness and righteousness. Sometimes sometimes I'm going to say some things you agree with. Sometimes I'm going to say some things that you disagree with. You know, sometimes you got to weed through some BS to get to whatever the message is, but I think that's just all a part of being human. You know, I'm not one of those people that's going to sit around and sell people no dream. I think that if you agree with somebody 100% of the time, then that person's probably lying to you and only telling you what you want to hear and telling you what sounds good. And I'm human at the end of the day, so it's going to be ups and downs. You're going to see me make mistakes, especially in this real-time era of social media. Like, I've been doing radio for 20 years. So it's like, of course you're going to see me, you know, stumble a couple of times, but that's just the way things are. And I think that for the most part, people are receiving what they're supposed to receive.
For sure, definitely.
All right, now in the book, I'm on like chapter 4 right now, all right? But I read that you said about anxiety is given. Anxiety is a given when you live a life of crime.
Yes.
So what advice do you have for those who are trying to change their life around, but that anxiety is getting to them and they don't know what to do with it?
Well, I use my anxiety as fuel. You know what I'm saying? I turn that fear into fuel. Like I said on stage, my father would always tell me, if you don't change your lifestyle, you're going to end up in jail, dead, or broke sitting under the tree. And that scared me. You know, I didn't want those options. Those options gave me anxiety just thinking about being in jail, being dead, being broken under the tree. When those things start actually happening to you, when you start going to jail, or you start seeing people around you get killed, or you see people around you get these long prison sentences, or you see people around you really just sitting in the hood doing nothing, it's like, man, that's not what I want for myself. So it's like, I just use that anxiety as fuel to just like motivate me to do something positive. I don't care if that's something that's like working at a warehouse. I don't care if that's something that's like working at Taco Bell. Like this, if you long as you're doing something positive and and you're happy with that, that's it.
Well, my side, I got one more question for you because this has been a big a couple of days for you. You know, just dropped the book. Now you got Bodied, a movie that you were just featured in. Tell us a little bit
crazy.
about that.
Yeah,
that dropped November 2nd.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I'm a producer on Bodied too. I'm one of the producers of Bodied, the consultant producer. But I don't even remember when we shot that. We shot that like maybe 2 years ago, you know. And my man Joseph Kahn reached out to me and he asked me to play the character of 100 Grams. And this is before even Eminem was involved, but then I heard Eminem was always involved. He just was keeping his name off it. And then I remember we went to the Toronto Film Festival maybe last year, and it got such rave reviews, and that's how it's like just grown into this thing that people are actually anticipating, which is weird. Cause I've been in a few films, but nothing that has gotten like the anticipation that this one is receiving, you know. So it's just fun to watch, and I can't wait to see how people receive it because the message in it is really dope. Like people think it's just a battle rap movie, but it's really a movie about, you know, this PC era that we live in and how your words do have consequences. Like there is no such thing as freedom of speech. Like all of the speech comes with a certain cost. So how much are you willing to pay to say whatever it is the hell you want? Say whatever the hell you want to say. So it's gonna be good. Y'all like it?
I loved it. That was a great movie, man. We saw the premiere yesterday.
You liked it?
I wasn't at the premiere yesterday.
Dope
See how they treat me?
Word. Cool.
We need to write to our congressman about this. No, I'm just kidding. We just want to thank you so much for allowing us the opportunity to speak with you tonight,
Thank y'all.
for shedding some light on a very important issue. I need everybody to go cop that book, Shook One, right now.
Yes, sir. It's right
Get
there,
it? Yeah, let's get this book.
There you go. Boom.
That's
Absolutely.
right.
Go
And make
get
sure
that.
y'all go see this film November 2nd.
Bodied.
Charlamagne Tha God. You can catch him on the Breakfast Club. He's doing everything all over the place. You can catch him everywhere. But right now you can catch him on Press Pause Productions, Lito Takeover, Tiffani D, Charlamagne Tha God, Press Pause.
Lito, Tiffani, thank you.
Thank you.
Salute to Press Pause Productions, man. Y'all keep growing.